After the earthquakes that we've had recently around this area of Papua New Guinea and the volcano, now we have New Zealand rocking with a very large quake and swarm. Let's go to the, okay, here we are. This is USGS, as we can see. And they're just about the same time. And we've also had earthquakes around north of this. This is the 6.4. And a few hours later, this was a few minutes later, 5.0. A few hours later, 5.7. And around that time, 5.1, as you can see. Now, this is on the ridge of the extension of subduction zones, I guess you would call them. Now, here we have another quake just about the same time, 5.6 as well. And again, these are today's quakes, 5.1, 5.0. And let's go to the interactive map here. This is Seismo Berkeley, showing them as well. Fiji Basin, and that's the trench of New Zealand. Hawaii has been shaking, and even though USGS does not show these quakes, look at this. Basically, there's nothing showing here for the United States, even though I have it for 1 week. This is the actual activity in the United States. This is New Zealand, as we saw. And Terrell Blackstar says that he expects a bigger quake at Papua New Guinea. That was a 5.6 today, as we said, at 7.5 or higher, because of the planetary alignment, the black star in the position that it is around Jupiter, and he's still waiting for it. Now, going back to our side here, this is something that we have to look at very closely, because we had a very strange quake in Colorado yesterday of 5.6 downgraded to a 4.5. That's it right there. Very shallow depth. And most people don't know that Colorado has volcanoes. It has a volcanic field, and the Great Sand Dunes Park is actually situated at an area that was a volcanic field, and the sand dunes were part of a huge volcanic lake that has dried up. So here we have Yellowstone, of course. And if you see the various videos that I just posted up since yesterday, the new reports having to do with how big Yellowstone is. It's not just the size that it was, it's 2.5 times bigger. And the magma chamber is not just chambers, it's also like tentacles extending out. And they said that the magma chamber, the Yellowstone supervolcano, actually being 2.5 times bigger, extends all the way down to Mexico. So Yellowstone extends to Mexico. We've had earthquakes in Calgary as well. Yesterday, 3.8, which was weird. I guess a lot of people believe that it has to do with hydraulic fracturing, the fracking that's taking place there. But it's also on an area that has the Rocky Mountains. It's the subduction zone that created the Rocky Mountains, and this whole thing goes down into Yellowstone anyway. So if Yellowstone is, in fact, as the geologists of USGS have stated, and this is not fear-mongering, this is their statement, it would extend all the way to Canada as well. So it would take 2.5 times bigger. That means it would also extend this way, extending to the volcanic fields and even along Valley Caldera, which is another supervolcano. And we'll look at this later, but what is this? This is just the past hour. Okay, Mammoth Lakes, that's a volcanic area. And of course, this is the San Andreas Fault. It's always moving. The red are the past day, the past hour, sorry. And the blue is the past day, and the yellow is the past week. If we go in more, okay, here we have the names. Las Vegas, the area between Los Angeles and Las Vegas is over above the San Bernardino Mountains is, of course, volcanic fields. And we've had, what is this again? That must be near the Pisgah crater. Okay, it's been rocking since the beginning of February. And we've also had Southwest Utah, and again, Southwest Utah, that's the past week. Okay, that's what we saw. And of course, Colorado. These are volcanoes here. Colorado does have volcanoes, as we said. And people have been saying, why are Southwest Utah and Colorado having quakes? In fact, this quake here, the 4.5 that was downgraded to 5.6, was the same time as, basically the same time, 1722 as 1716, as this one here in Yellowstone of a 3.3. About 6 minutes apart. And obviously they're connected because of the fact that the USGS just yesterday I found the article that I read for you. It's that big. So they are connected to each other. The earthquakes, of course, affect one. It rattled Yellowstone. Actually, this one was before the. We said this one, the Yellowstone was before the Colorado quake. Yes. So anyway, that's the situation today with the latest earthquakes having to do with New Zealand. I also wanted to show you something very strange that I found, because this is the impact of an asteroid here that we saw, explained by Terrell Blackstar as well. If you see this thing here, it's as if something slammed into the Earth's crust and shoved the crust to the edge here, making these waves. And now where is the body of the asteroid? Well, I don't know. It could have been a comet, which are icy things. And perhaps it dissolved and maybe even helped with the water situation on Earth. I don't know. But this is about, if I remember, it's about 133 miles across. It doesn't mean that the whole thing was the body of the asteroid. It could have been the force that melted the crust and pushed it that way. But we have, and this is of course Papua New Guinea here. That's the volcano. No, yeah, well, that's it right there, Papua New Guinea. And if we go down towards Latin America, here on this side, we see something similar has come in and forced its way, in a way also sort of cutting the tip of South America and the northernmost tip of Antarctica, slamming into them, cutting them, and then stopping here. And this thing here is about 330 something, the 457 miles across. Now when I went to see how big a comet could be, it could be 6 miles across. So what was it that hit this thing? Again, it could have been the force of the 6-mile comet that, this icy celestial body coming. There must have been something that impacted the Earth. And again, it looks very much like what we saw before with the asteroid impact. Again, you have these crusts where it stopped. And again, you have these little islands here, the Sandwich Islands, I think they are. And it looks as if it was so forceful, it cut the crust and turned these little horns towards the direction that it impacted. This is amazing. I have never looked at I was amazed to see the cracks. The globe looks as if it's cracked. Of course, that's the mid-Atlantic trench. But look at this. I mean, this is really frightening. I saw this. This is what we saw before. And then this huge crack. I mean, it could be, it goes all the way down there. And this seems to be deeper and bigger than the mid-Atlantic trench. But anyway, that's just from what we see. And of course, this whole area is what Terrell Blackstar says is going to be seeing a 7.5 or a 9 Richter magnitude earthquake. He's still waiting for it. He's still waiting for it. So this activity is really building up for some reason. Anyway, we've also had other earthquakes, and hitting today, as we see, Alaska, Hawaii, the United States, and we even had one in, oh yes, let's see that one. We even had one in Montreal. Montreal is a few days ago. New York. We even had one in New York, 2.3. I remember when I was working in Wall Street years ago, we had an earthquake at the time, one afternoon as we were working. And the officials came out and said, no, it was a supersonic jet flying over by. And there was a squabble about who was right. Were the geologists right with the earthquake? Or were the officials coming out saying, no, it was not an earthquake, we don't have earthquakes in New York and around Long Island and Manhattan? Well, they were wrong, because we even had earthquakes after that. One Saturday morning, everybody was happy it was a Saturday morning because people were not working. Most people were not working downtown in New York City on a Saturday morning, like all those high-rise office buildings. So, and we know that Maine, New Hampshire, all these areas have, Maine is about 200 miles across, I remember, and there are 4 volcanoes that are in an area of 100 miles. You can imagine how many, and you see those beautiful mountains, beautiful lakes, the Northeast, and the beautiful autumn colors or spring colors, and the beautiful lakes for fishing or vacationing. And all those mountains around there are all, of course, the eastern seaboard are all volcanic. It's a volcanic area. Not many people know about that. So, okay. And we even had one in Lake Erie today of a 2. All right, I'll leave links below for you for this. Thank you. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.